You just sold your business.
I have indeed.
Yeah.
For how much?
I can't.
I'm asking for a friend. Nobody's listening.
Somebody at SARS might be, so I can't.
They've got load shedding. Nobody's listening.
Actually.
Yeah, look, this transaction has been 4 years in the making. This is a business I've been building for the past 12 years. It's a big, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge deal. South Africans don't typically sell businesses in the knowledge economy, which ours is. So this is a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taken parts of the proceeds. So I took 10 million rand of my own money as part of the proceeds from the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
I've created a venture capital fund through which we're starting to invest in other entrepreneurs. We've just opened up a center in Limpopo and Toyando.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I believe in the rural economy and rural entrepreneurs specifically. So, so that's a huge part of what I want to spend the next decade of my life doing now is helping those who come from spaces that I did not necessarily come from, but can appreciate, try and ascend to what is within their capability and ability to do. Yeah.
Let's talk about tapping into best self.
Right.
Because we stopped at Gregory Porter just shortly after talking about Gregory Porter, about tapping into your best self. At which point did you decide, I am going to shed off all my insecurities and not be bothered by what I fear, which is the unknown, and I'm just going to go for it?
Yeah, I mean
what did it take?
That's a great question. The answer to which is that there is no point. It's a pursuit. It's a quest. You're always on that journey.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way. When I was younger, the things about which I had insecurities are things that I look at now and I go, why was I insecure about that?
Petty, right?
Petty. But there are things today that I look at, people perhaps in my life or who are in my periphery, in my view, who are doing things and I go, man, I'd love to. And so you as a human being, competitive I am, there is a terrible habit to want to compare, to want to say, Nami ngifuna ukufana no. And that thing never dies, by the way. Thing never dies. So, I sell my business to Americans, a friend of mine sells his business to the British for pounds, and it changes the conversation, right? Because, he's earned a better currency, he moves and lives in another part of the world. That's good, and that's okay. So it's always a fight you're always having with yourself. What I have come to is recognizing that I am only happy when I do me.
Of course.
Right? And
I wish people would get this.
But I don't know when we forgot it. Because I think I look at my kids, like, kids get it. That's why kids go outside and just play. They get it.
Yeah.
Right? There's something about growing up in the world. And I tell you where I think it comes from. I actually think it comes from the schooling system. Because what we do when we grade children is we grade them and then we create a top 10 and a top 20. And so as a function of that, they were uno number one, which means they must be number last, right? And so when you go into the world, you're always benchmarking yourself against other people.
Does that intoxicate character?
Oh man, listen.
Or potential rather than character.
And the worst thing it does, is it completely debilitates you. You can't move. You're stuck now. You're sitting in a place. So I look at Unati, right? I mean, I've known Black Coffee. I mean, I've known him for over a decade. And the things he's doing now, he and I were talking about 10 years ago.
It's a movie.
But it's like 10 years ago, he and I were having this conversation. He was like, I hate when this brand approaches me and they want to pay me this. They don't understand my value. But what he has done, to his credit, is he stayed in his moment and he just kept knocking away at this wood, knowing that eventually it would break, it would open, right?
Yeah.
So those of us who are now watching, and I'm seeing a lot of this conversation on social media, like, what's with the haterade? Like,
of course.
Go on your journey.
Of course.
Do the you, be the you, and I swear to God, your time will come. Because we can't all peak at the same time, nor can we all peak in the same way. But it is about just making sure that in the small space where you exist, you're being the best version of yourself. And leaving an imprint that other people can take inspiration from.
Stunning.
Our successes don't come at the same time, like I always say. Now, Vusi, you're so rich. Hold on. When I say rich, I don't mean financially. But I mean, you're very educated. Your mind, your soul, your spirit. And it's very rare where you find someone like you be so grounded and remain so down to earth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's my first time meeting you. And when I read your profile, I said, oh my God, he's going to come in here, he's going to be like, good day, guys, the
Don't let the accent
Do you know what I mean?
He's a nice person.
And I'm listening to you, like, even when you were talking
Don't let the accent fool you guys. No, don't, okay? Don't be intimidated by the...
I mean, even when you were talking to Janelle, I was like, he's actually like, you know,
He's chilled people.
very chilled.
Yeah.
Right.
Very intimidating, but only because of, you know, what we read, what you have achieved.
Right.
But how do you remain so grounded? Is it the people around you? Is
Yeah.
it friends? Is it family?
Because I understand that my power is within. It is not in the world. It is not in the things that the world gives me.
Yeah.
So I would be the same me if I had nothing.
Mm.
And if you ever think about the people certainly I aspire to be, people who have true power, people who truly command audiences, who truly command respect, those people just exist.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you what I've done. You want to find out, you can Google it. I don't need to tell you who I am. You want to find out, just ask me. So izinto engizenzayo and indawo engizihambayo are simply the things I'm doing and the journey I'm on.
Yeah.
Those are not the things I am. Mina uma ngibuyela ekhaya ngiyahamba ngiyohlala nomama ngenzela inkomazi. Ngihlala phansi ngidla inkomazi. Ingane zami zizovakashela ugogo. So
Sure.
Why do we change, Vusi? Why do we change? To what would you say we can attribute people's change when they tap into success? And by success now, I'm going to measure success on the petty side of the fence here, right? To say worldly belongings,
Sure.
fancy cars,
Sure.
fancy life. All of a
Sure.
sudden now you're making headlines,
Sure.
and this changes you as a person.
Sure.
How, like, at which point, like, how do we make sense of that?
It's a great question. The answer to which is it's important to remember that most people who achieve success achieve it because they're insecure. That's why they achieve it. That's why they work.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they work harder than most people. It's because they have a deep sense of insecurity. So they will put in more effort so that when they come into the room, they can hide that insecurity with preparation. As a result, they achieve more. When they then achieve, they think that which they have achieved defines who they are. Not
just blow my
recognizing,
mind.
not recognizing that you always were. But I don't think about myself as previously disadvantaged. That's rubbish. The first school I went to was a township school. My parents did the best they could to give us opportunities.
You
So
existed in the you that your parents could provide for.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, you know what? Hold that thought. We're still going to be here. Don't you go anywhere. 52 minutes after 11.
We need a 10-hour show today, please.